Moya. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday. Just calling to order this meeting of the Intergovernmental Relations Committee. All members are present. We have a short agenda today. I think we'll hear briefly from our state lobbyist and then try to get our federal priorities legislation out of committee, and then we'll be done for the day. So would you like to start, Mr. Thompson?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and hello, everybody, and greetings from Santa Fe. We've had a topsy-turvy past few days, but I'm so proud of the Albuquerque team. Everybody has come together to really do a great job. And the sheets are out for individual discretionary capital, and we're starting to see numbers coming back in. And I will just tell you, they're really good for Albuquerque. I'm trying to think, as I look at each of the counselors up here, I have specific feedback for each of you that's very positive on your projects, and then for our citywide projects as well. It's nice having Libby here. We've only been squabbling a little bit today, but it's been really fun, and the sheets have to be back in tomorrow at approximately 5 p.m. So what we've been working on is just trying to make sure that as questions come in, and they're coming in from staff and from individual legislators, we have a new legislator that was sworn in today. So we're just doing our very best to make sure that they have the information they need to make informed choices. But I can tell you, if you compare the city of Albuquerque to the others, we are so far ahead of them in terms of the preparation, the materials we've provided, and everything. So I'm very optimistic that we'll have a good showing at the end of this process.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Any questions for Joe?
Madam Chair, I'm via remote, not usual, if I may, so my raised hand didn't work.
Yes, Councilor Rasnan.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I know that I am a big significant contributor to the topsy-turviness of the last couple of days, but I'm very excited to hear positive feedback already. And I know that you all have been working really hard. So here's my public, thank you so much to you and your team and Libby and everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bassan. Any more questions or comments for Mr. Thompson? Okay, well, thank you so much. We'll let you get back to work, and we look forward to hearing more specifics soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to stay, of course, but free to leave. All right, with that, we'll move on to the federal priorities bill. Let me turn it over to Mr. Minicucci.
Okay, Madam Chair, can you hear me? I'm going through my phone.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So, Jillian, if you can bring up, I guess, the first priorities. So, Madam Chair, if you remember last week, we
sorry, Tom. So is that the bill or the attachment one?
Attachment one. I apologize.
Okay.
Thank you, Jillian.
No problem. Just clarifying. Thank you.
Okay. So last week we had decided to go ahead and just do some prioritization. Myself and Isaac and John O'Donnell discussed that, and I think we sent out an email saying that it was probably not at this time the best route to go to prioritize. I think the route what we have now is working the best, simply because each of the federal grants goes on a separate track. There's competitive, earmarks, formula. So, and where one project might be a good priority for one track, it may not be for another one, whereas one that's not a good priority for one track might be for another one. So we felt that the system we have now is probably just the best. Once we get the bill adopted, I think Isaac and his team and John O'Donnell and myself and the team we have in council will get together and take a hard look at which direction we think the congressional delegation is going as to what projects they'll fund. And then we'll do some prioritization then and get back to the people whose projects look fairly high. We think that would be the best route on that one. So beyond that, I think the three documents we have, document 1, document 2, and document 3 are all good to go. They're no different than last week. We did just a little bit more cleanup. When they go to full council, the red will be taken out. I think basically we just wanted to be able to show the committee what the changes are. And we hope to be at full council the 7th or Monday. By that'll give the mayor time to sign it if it's passed at full council, and us able to get it to the congressional delegation as the season begins, for lack of a better word, to begin looking at earmarks for the next year. So thank you. And I believe, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Minicucci. Yes, Counselor Bassan.
Thank you. So, Madam Chair, thank you. Just to confirm, so this is actually, we thought we were going to change it and do a priorities of the priorities, but then that ended up looking as though it might be too cumbersome or ineffective. So now we're not going to do that. And I just want to confirm that I'm correct on that plan.
Correct, yes, because I think in effect is the best, because again, the track, unlike the state system, federal government has different tracks and types of grant programs. And so again, like I said, one project that's priority for one program may not be good for another, and a program that's not a good priority for one could be good for another. So we didn't want to, we feel we could actually do it correctly.
Sounds good.
Thank you. And I see Mr. O'Donnell and Mr. Pagonis have also joined us. We just reviewed the attachments to the federal priorities bills, and Tom kind of walked us through the changes since last we spoke, but anything you would like to add, Mr. O'Donnell?
No, I don't have anything. I was just able to hear the end of that last conversation, so I'm kind of in the dark in a sense. But Tom and Isaac and myself had talked about what I heard Tom just reporting on, so we'll follow up next week.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell. Okay, are there any other questions or comments regarding the draft bill? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to move it out of committee.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
do we vote on this? Isn't this one that we already voted on? And then we were going to vote again on prioritizing the priorities, or I got lost somewhere on the way, I guess.
That's a good question, Councilor Bassan. I also do not remember. I bet you Mr. Minicucci does.
So yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Councilor Bassan, no, we've just deferred them. So all we're doing today is just voting to move them forward. We just voted to defer them, and what you had voted on last week was to allow us permission to prioritize, because that would realize that some people's projects would be low priority. So we want to support the committee, but since we're not doing that, we can just go ahead and move the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Minicucci. Councilor Pena?
Well, if there's nothing else on that, yeah, I agree that it was deferred, and I just kind of want to jump back to the state stuff and to the federal stuff, and just to really kind of do what Councilman did, is acknowledge everybody's hard work, including our council analysts, our council staff, Tom, Jeff, Isaac, I mean, everybody from the city who really has been working hard. You know, there's been a couple of hiccups, but I think at the end of the day, everybody's just worked really hard to make sure that all of this happens. And I want to thank our state lobbyists and obviously our federal. So I think the city's doing a good job in trying to get as much money and resources to our community as possible. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Pena. And yes, we also, of course, echo all of the things. Councilor Bassan?
I make a motion to approve the priorities.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do I see a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Feeblecorn. Are there any further questions, comments, discussion? Okay, hearing none. I think we call the roll on this committee. In the virtual world, we call the roll. So I'm not sure if that's Mr. Moya or Mr. Minicucci.
I can go ahead and call the roll, Mayor.
Thank you.
Madam Chair. So Madam Chair, Chief Administrative Officer Nair.
Yes.
Yes. Vice Chair Feeblecorn, Councilor Feeblecorn.
Yes.
Councilor Brisson.
Yes.
Council Member Pena.
Yes.
Yes. Director Padilla.
Yes.
Chief of Staff Pooley.
Yes.
Madam Chair, that passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Minicucci. Thanks for all of you members. And of course, thanks to our lobbying and intergovernmental teams. Is there any further business before this committee? Okay, seeing none, it's good to see you all. Keep warm, be safe, don't drive after dark. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.